What's going on, everybody? It's the Hook Cam back again. Not a film breakdown this time, but just kind of some thoughts that I've had about this Detroit Lions football team. This has been such an interesting team for me to follow over the last year, and I really wanted to wait to make this video until Stafford got dealt. I'm recording this the night Stafford gets dealt. Who knows when you're watching it? But I really like the direction that the Detroit Lions are going in. And I'm sure that there's a lot of old school Lions fans who might listen to this and be like, yeah, dude, we've been there for the last however many years. But this Detroit Lions team right now is building in the right direction. And when you look at the moves that they've done, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, before I get into all of that, if you could hit that like button on this video, if you could hit that subscribe button to my channel, that would mean the absolute world to me. As well as the Jackson Kruger Sports. I do a ton of work with him. He's a phenomenal person. Go check out his channel. It's one of my featured channels. And then since I'm doing Detroit stuff, if you could check out the Detroit Sports Alliance and the host of people that they have doing work for them, that would be really awesome. I'm going to plug all their stuff down below. That would be really cool as well. So diving into why I really like what the Detroit Lions are doing. It all starts with who they hire as their GM. It really all starts with firing Patricia, to be honest with you. And Sheila Ford is playing no-nonsense football right now. Like, she's playing no-nonsense, we're going to stuff the rock football. She's going in, she's chopping heads off. Heads are going to roll, right? She's making that franchise fresh and clean. Let's get rid of everything nasty that was here. Let's get rid of everything that wasn't working. It starts by going and getting rid of Patricia. And then you get rid of Bevel. And you get rid of, I don't know if Unland's still there actually. But you essentially are cleaning that franchise out, right? I love that first move from her. And then you go and you hire Brad Holmes, right? Brad Holmes is from the LA Rams. The Rams have done a tremendous job drafting this over the last couple of years. I think they've done a really good job with their personnel decisions. I think they're a little too invested in right now, which kind of ties into the Stafford trade as well. I'll try to get into that later. But overall, the Rams have done a tremendous job of building talent and young talent around them, and then also being able to go out and grab some big-time players, grabbing a Jalen Ramsey, grabbing a Matt Stafford, right? Making those trades to put together a team that can win right now. They've done a really good job of that. And Brad Holmes has been a part of that tree. He's been a part of learning that entire system. So I really did like that pickup to start. The second thing they do is they go and they bring in this absolute savage Dan Campbell. Absolute savage Dan Campbell. And when I first heard his press conference, I wanted to run through a brick wall. I wanted to go find a helmet and shoulder pads, strap them up, spray paint a Detroit Lion on the side, and just start running into people on the sidewalk. I mean, that dude, if you don't love the way that guy handled his press conference, you're probably not a fan of football. You probably don't watch the sport in August, right? I don't know what you're doing in your free time, but it's probably not productive. I mean, Dan Campbell makes me want to stay up until 1:30 in the morning watching film, and I'm not even coaching right now. Bottom line with what I'm saying with that is that Dan Campbell's a guy you want to play for. And that's something that has been missing in Detroit for at least since Patricia was hired. And from what I've been told from, when Patricia kind of got to Detroit, it was very like the savior is here. And that's just not the way to go about it, and we clearly saw that. But Dan Campbell comes in, and he's basically like, no, we're going to be in a street fight for 60 minutes every Sunday, Monday, or Thursday that we play. And you might punch us 1,000 times in the face, but we're going to get up 1,001. It was awesome to see that press conference, because that's the kind of guy that you want to play for. And I can guarantee you guys in that locker room were looking at each other like, hell yeah, like, let's go. I would start dropping F-bombs, but I can't, right? But anyways, it's a guy that you want to play for, which I think is huge. Okay, on top of that, not just the fact that his press conference was good, but you look at his coaching tree. Where's he from? He's been in New Orleans the last couple of years. I mean, New Orleans has put together NFC contenders, Super Bowl contenders for a long time. He's their tight ends coach over there. He comes in. He's had interim head coaching experience with the Dolphins. But this is a dude who you got to absolutely love as somebody coming in to take over the helm for your football team. But this is where I look at what the Lions have done, and I tip my cap to them, and I'm like, these are good moves. These are good moves that they're making. The next thing they do, Anthony Lynn, offensive coordinator. Why do I love that? You bring in head coaching experience at your offensive coordinator position, and you help this new head coach this young buck head coach. Bring in another head coach. Help him out. You can call the offense, but I mean, Anthony Lynn's going to be in some way, shape, or form an assistant head coach, guarantee you, right? And then you keep Dan Campbell and the defensive coordinator together. His mind's escaping me right now. But again, you bring in 2 Saints guys in there, keep some consistency with that. But like I said, I love what they're doing with this coaching staff first and foremost, because this is, to me, where everything in Detroit has been missing for the last couple of years. It's been with their coaching staff. And that has trickled down to everything, GM and coaching staff, really, because you look at that trickle-down effect to what they're bringing in personnel-wise, the moves that they're making, who they're drafting, everything like that. It's all a trickle-down effect to me from that GM and head coach. That's where everything starts to trickle down, and that's where we start to see these moves that are head-scratcher. Why are we signing Jamie Collins to that much money? Why are we throwing this money at Duron, stuff like that? And no shade at those guys, because those guys are good football players, absolutely. But you get what I'm saying, right? Like there's other moves out there. And I hope Jamie Collins does outstanding this year. I feel like I offended Jamie Collins in some way, shape, or form. I love Jamie Collins. I think he's an absolute stud. But you get what I'm saying. It's that trickle-down effect from GM and head coach all the way down to the personnel decisions you make, and ultimately down to how your team plays on Sundays. Because clearly the head coach that they had in there wasn't the guy that wasn't the guy that players wanted to play for. It just wasn't at the end of the day. And whether that's on players or coach, to be honest, doesn't matter. It doesn't. Said and done now. Doesn't matter. So those are the coaching and front office decisions that they're making right now that I really, really like. And then to tie this all into Matt Stafford and this Matt Stafford trade. Matt Stafford, this is how I think things went down. Matt Stafford walked into that office. He said, look, it's been a great run in Detroit. I don't want to be a part of another rebuild. And Brad Holmes probably was like, I expected you to say that. Thank you for your time. We'll find a trade suitor. From there they go, and it took about, I think it took like a week for them to get a trade for Stafford, because Stafford's a stud. Stafford's an absolute stud. And they got people knocking on their door. I heard that Washington and L.A., New England, I don't exactly know who else. The Niners were being talked about. I didn't think they had the cap space. The Colts, all these teams are knocking on their door, which is awesome. But you have to find the right people to trade with. I didn't think that they would go NFC. They went NFC, which is whatever. But when you look at what they got in return for Matt Stafford, and you look at the state of Detroit minus Matt Stafford with nothing in return, just think about that. We have a lacking quarterback position that we need to find, that needs to be addressed right now, this instant. You can't win football games with a bad quarterback, right? So you send Stafford off to LA, and in return you get 2 first-round picks in the future, a third-round pick for this year, and Jared Goff. Okay, now I'm going to start with Jared Goff. Jared Goff is a competent NFL quarterback. And if you divided it up into tiers, I think he's a middle-of-the-tier guy. I don't think that he's going to do anything incredible to win you a football game. I don't think he's going to do anything horrible to lose you a football game. I think that he's going to be there. He's going to make throws you need him to make. He's going to do some good things. He's going to do some bad things. But overall, he's a guy that you can build around. I think that he has upside. Now, he has a fat contract tagged on with him, and I'll get into that in a second. But with having Jared Goff, the biggest question you had in Detroit was who's going to play quarterback for us. And basically every single plan of attack you had started there. And that was the beginning of your rebuild. But with Jared Goff in that equation, you just kickstarted that rebuild. You just hit the fast forward button on everything you need to do. Now, not only do you have Jared Goff and you can fast forward your rebuild, you can pick whoever you want now at 7. Right, and Luke and I are going to talk about that pretty soon of, kind of some Lions draft strategies, but you can pick whoever you want now at 7 as long as you're dialing in that defense or dialing in that offensive line, and then depending on what happens with Kenny Golladay. But that quarterback position now isn't really that much of a worry. Now you can focus on other things. And on top of that, you bring in the 2 future first-round draft picks with that. Now, breaking down Goff's contract, The Lions save $14 million in cap space this year by bringing in Jared Goff. Now, that's going to haunt them in years 2 and 3 with Goff. If he wants to stay, he's got to restructure that, because the Lions are going to be in too much of a financial handcuff if they stick with Goff in years 2 and 3. He's got too much on the books. But you save a little bit on your cap this year. You get 2 future first-round picks. Now, if the Lions stay pat, they'll have a total of 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years with this trade. And you're going to find good talent with 4 first-round picks over the next 2 years. On top of that, you think about the division the Rams are in. And yeah, the Rams are a contender, absolutely. The NFC West is one of the most competitive divisions in football. The Cardinals are on the up and up. The Seahawks are always tough. The Niners, minus injuries, are a Super Bowl contender to some extent. It is no guarantee that the Rams walk their way into the playoffs and into a Super Bowl. It is no guarantee. So and this is the best case scenario, if the Rams don't make the playoffs in one of those 2 years, you're probably getting a top 15 round draft pick, a top 15 first round draft pick, because of these 2 trades that you just made. And then to boot, you gain a 3rd round pick this year after you traded a 6th rounder away to pick up Everson Griffin. So you can call that a wash. You pick up the 3rd rounder this year, and there's good talent out there in the draft, especially this year, that you could find in the 3rd round. So ultimately, what am I saying? The Lions are heading in the right direction. They are heading in the right direction. You've done a great job. And on top of that, I didn't even get into like John Dorsey. And they hired somebody else today who's an absolute stud defensive guy. I can't remember. I feel like a clown now. But these guys are heading in the right direction. They're doing it with their front office. They're doing it. This is probably the best trade the Lions have made. In all honesty, this is how I feel. This is the best trade the Lions have made in years. This is the best trade they've made in years. This is setting themselves up for the future, which is something this football team hasn't done. Now you can build. And you have Jared Goff as the placeholder, which is a way better placeholder than a lot of other quarterbacks you're going to find out there. You get the draft capital in return. Now you can do what you want in the draft, feel comfortable. It is a great move for the Lions. I really, really do think that the Lions are heading on the right track. So anyway, guys, I got a podcast coming out with Luke G. We're recording it Sunday. I plan on dropping this Sunday, so be on the lookout for that. That's all I got for you guys today. Make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my channel, The Hook Cam, as well as the Jackson Kruger Sports. That would mean the world to both of us, as well as Luke G. He's the man. And all the DSA guys. I'll link their stuff. So anyway, guys, that's all I got for you today. Make sure we're staying safe, washing those hands, and I'll see you next time.